They called across the galaxy, and Earth's monsters appeared. Myra Patel adjusted her telescope, squinting at the strange patterns appearing in her screens. Signals, patterns, something that had never been seen before. "Is this real?" she whispered, rubbing her eyes. The numbers on her monitor jumped and danced. It was as if the stars themselves were trying to speak. Her heart beat faster. She knew signals from space were common, but this was different, organized, repeating, precise. Someone somewhere was calling. Half a world away, in a small lab in Japan, Professor Kenji Sato noticed the same signals. His equipment, simple yet sensitive, detected the pulsing patterns across multiple frequencies. It was not random noise. Someone or something was trying to communicate. Kenji adjusted his headset and whispered into the microphone, "We're receiving something intelligent." Meanwhile, governments and space agencies started noticing the anomaly. Satellites, telescopes, and deep space listening stations all picked up the same signal. The world held its breath. Newspapers ran headlines about possible alien contact. Scientists debated endlessly on television and radio. Could life exist beyond Earth? Was this the first step toward meeting it? And yet, amidst the excitement, there was unease. Humanity had always imagined aliens as dangerous or hostile. Movies and stories told of invaders and conquerors. But the signal was not threatening. It was a call for help. Somewhere in the distant reaches of the galaxy, a civilization was in trouble. And they wanted Earth's help. For Dr. Patel, the excitement was tempered by fear. She knew that answering the call could change everything. The whole world could change. She tapped a series of commands into her computer, tracing the signal back. The origin was unimaginable. The call came from a system far beyond any human exploration. Planets she had only seen in pictures, stars far older than the sun. The distance was enormous, but the message was clear: help us. At the same time, something strange began to stir on Earth itself. In forests and mountains, creatures long thought to exist only in myths or stories awoke. Wolves with glowing eyes, creatures with massive wings, strange shapes that slipped through shadows. They sensed the call too. Though humans had feared and ignored these creatures, they were drawn to the signal instinctively, as if understanding the danger and opportunity it represented. In a quiet village in Scotland, a young boy named Liam was the first to see one of these monsters. A dragon-like creature, small and sleek, landed in the mist near his home. Liam froze, expecting fear, but instead felt a strange calm. The creature looked at him, intelligent eyes shining, and then vanished as quickly as it had appeared. Liam ran home to tell his parents, who laughed nervously and dismissed it as a dream. But deep inside, Liam knew something had changed. News of the strange occurrences began to spread. Farmers, hikers, and travelers reported sightings of creatures no one could explain. Scientists rushed to the sites, cameras in hand, trying to document what they saw. And as more people witnessed these creatures, humanity realized something startling: the monsters of legend were real. Not only real, but awake and active, responding to the same cosmic call as humans. Governments scrambled. Some called for containment, fearing danger. Others saw opportunity. Could these creatures help humanity answer the signal? Could they be allies in a situation that was bigger than anyone had imagined? Meanwhile, Dr. Patel and Professor Sato collaborated across continents. Using the most advanced computers and algorithms, they decoded part of the signal. It was complex, filled with symbols that carried meaning beyond words. And slowly, piece by piece, a message became clear. "We are in danger. We need help. Your world has creatures that can aid us. Respond if you can." The announcement sent shockwaves across Earth. Monsters were no longer just hidden. They were important. And humans had to find a way to work with them. Public opinion was divided. Some were terrified. Others were thrilled. But one thing became obvious. Humanity had a chance to step into the galaxy in a way no other species had imagined. In the deserts of Africa, a massive creature rose from the sands. Its scales shimmered in the sunlight, and its eyes glowed with intelligence. It sniffed the air, sensing the vibrations of the signal. Across oceans and continents, similar awakenings occurred. Wolves, birds, dragons, even creatures no human had ever documented emerged from hiding. They were coming together, drawn to something far beyond Earth. For the first time, humans saw that these monsters were not mindless beasts. They were intelligent, aware, and connected to Earth in ways humans had only begun to understand. Some scientists speculated that these creatures had always been part of the planet's defense system, hidden from human eyes until now. Others believed they were guardians of something greater, waiting for the day humanity would reach for the stars. The world prepared. Spaceships were readied, scientists trained, and communication networks established. Humans debated how to contact the aliens, but the monsters did not wait. They moved toward the points of launch, toward the locations where humans would depart, as if they already understood their mission. In a quiet command center, Dr. Patel watched as a dragon-like creature landed near a launch site. She felt no fear. Instead, a strange sense of wonder filled her. This was the beginning of something extraordinary, something that would change not only Earth but the galaxy itself. And for the first time, humans realized that their monsters were not enemies, not legends. They were allies. Night after night, the signal continued, growing in urgency. Humanity worked tirelessly to understand it, while the monsters roamed freely, learning, observing, and preparing. The stage was set for a journey that no one could have imagined. And as humans looked up at the stars, they realized that Earth was about to answer a call that would echo across the galaxy. The first step was the hardest: trust. Trust between humans and monsters, trust between humans and the unknown. And yet, when the signal pulsed across the sky once more, it carried hope. Hope that together, Earth and its hidden guardians could face whatever lay beyond the stars. In the mountains, in forests, in oceans, and in deserts, the monsters gathered. Their instincts told them that danger was coming and that humanity would need them. And somewhere far beyond the reach of telescopes and satellites, the alien civilization waited, unaware of what was arriving. Doctor. Patel looked at her monitor and whispered to herself, "We are not alone, not anymore." For the first time in history, humanity understood that the legends of Earth were real. The monsters were real. And together, they would answer the call of the galaxy. The sun rose slowly over the Pacific Ocean, casting golden light on a world on the brink of something unimaginable. Humanity had spent weeks preparing for the journey. Spaceships had been readied in secret facilities across the globe, their engines humming quietly, waiting for departure. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly, reviewing calculations, checking systems, and coordinating with military and space agencies. Every step mattered. But no human could have predicted what would happen first. Before any spaceship even launched, the monsters of Earth began to arrive. Across the continents, the creatures that had been hidden for centuries, sometimes called legends, sometimes called myths, moved toward the signals and launch points. A massive serpent-like creature slid through the forests of South America, its scales reflecting the rising sun. Birds with wings spanning over 10 feet glided across cities, careful not to be seen by startled humans. Wolves, lions, and other fierce animals moved with intelligence and coordination that no human had ever witnessed. In the Arctic, a creature that looked like a mammoth but taller, stronger, and with glowing eyes trudged through the ice. It paused, sensing the vibrations in the planet, the vibrations of the alien call. It had waited for this moment, and now, finally, it was moving. At a launch site in Kazakhstan, humans stared in disbelief as a small, dragon-like creature landed near the command center. Its scales shimmered with colors they had never seen, and its eyes gleamed with intelligence. It lowered its head toward the humans, almost bowing in respect before turning its gaze toward the sky. Others followed, smaller creatures, faster, more agile, arriving one after another, forming a strange, living army. Doctor. Myra Patel watched the scene unfold from a distant observatory. She felt a strange mix of fear, awe, and excitement. She had spent her life studying the stars, imagining what other civilizations might be like. Yet nothing had prepared her for the moment when Earth itself seemed to respond in a way that was beyond human understanding. The monsters did not attack. They did not destroy. Instead, they moved with purpose. They circled the launch sites, communicating silently with one another. Humans could not hear their words if they had any, but somehow they understood the intention: to protect, to assist, to prepare for a journey none had ever imagined. The first human crew to launch was a small team of astronauts and scientists. Their mission was simple: follow the signal and establish contact with the alien civilization. Yet, as they climbed into their spacecraft, they realized they were not alone. Outside the launch bay, a giant wolf-like creature rested, its eyes watching the countdown. A shimmering dragon coiled in the corner, its wings brushing against the roof. The crew exchanged nervous glances but understood the unspoken truth. These creatures were allies. When the rockets ignited, the monsters howled, roared, or made sounds that echoed across the landscape. It was as if they were sending a farewell, a promise that they would follow when the time was right. The humans lifted off, the engines roaring, leaving Earth behind. Yet the monsters remained, watching, guiding, and preparing for their own journey. Halfway across the Pacific, the crew received their first message from the alien civilization. It was a holographic projection, shimmering in midair, showing beings unlike anything humans had ever imagined. They were tall, almost ethereal, with glowing patterns across their skin. Their eyes were wide, intelligent, and filled with urgency. "Welcome," the message said, translated instantly into human languages by the advanced computers on board. "We have called for help. Your world has sent creatures we did not expect. They are unique. We did not know such life existed. Prepare for the trials ahead." The crew stared at the projection, their minds racing. The monsters had already left Earth? Not yet. The message clarified: the aliens could see the creatures, feel their presence, but they could not reach them. The monsters were coming in their own way, moving through space in forms and methods that humans had not yet discovered. Meanwhile, on Earth, more monsters began to gather at the coasts, mountains, and forests. They did not need spaceships. Some flew into the upper atmosphere, gliding effortlessly into the edge of space. Others, like the enormous serpent from the Amazon, twisted through the oceans, riding currents faster than any human-made vehicle. All moved toward the same destination, the alien system that had sent the call. Humans watched in awe as the world's legends became reality. Pilots, scientists, and engineers documented every movement, every sound, every strange ability the monsters displayed. One biologist, Dr. Lian Wu, whispered to her assistant, "These creatures, they are not just intelligent. They are designed to work with the environment, to survive anywhere, to think in ways we cannot even imagine." At a launch site in Australia, a massive creature, part reptile, part bird, took flight. Its wingspan blocked the sun for a moment, casting shadows across the ground. It moved with precision, diving into the upper atmosphere, then vanishing into the stratosphere. Satellites tracked its path, and scientists gasped. It was faster than any plane, stronger than any rocket, and yet entirely alive. Dr. Patel received updates from around the world. The monsters were converging. They moved as a single force, yet each one retained individuality. Humans began to realize something extraordinary. The creatures were cooperating with one another, communicating in ways that transcended species. They were intelligent, adaptable, and coordinated, just like humans. The first contact with the alien system brought another surprise. The aliens had never seen life like Earth's monsters. They did not know how to react. Ships that humans launched carried supplies and communication devices, but the monsters arrived differently. Some traveled through the vacuum of space, protected by natural armor or energy fields unknown to human science. Others navigated asteroid belts, solar winds, or magnetic currents, moving faster than anything humanity could produce. The alien civilization sent messages back, expressing amazement. "Your world," they said, "has creatures that think, that plan, that understand. They are remarkable. We did not expect life like this." Humans began to feel a sense of pride. For centuries, humans had been underestimated, even by their own imagination. Now, the creatures of Earth were demonstrating that Earth itself was extraordinary. In orbit around Earth, the first human crew watched in amazement as a massive dragon-like creature pierced the clouds and entered space. Its wings glowed with strange patterns, and its eyes reflected the stars. The crew realized that these monsters were not just allies, they were essential. Without them, the journey to the alien system might have been impossible. Back on Earth, news networks struggled to report what was happening. Footage of monsters moving into space, flying over cities, or swimming into the oceans created disbelief and wonder in equal measure. People who had feared the unknown now marveled at the courage and intelligence of these beings. Children cheered. Scientists speculated. Governments debated how to interact with such forces. And yet, amidst all this excitement, a question lingered. What would the alien civilization think when these monsters arrived? Humans had never prepared for this. They had thought the journey would rely on technology alone. But now they understood that the monsters were not just passengers, they were partners. As the first monsters entered deep space, humans on the crew could feel the change. The creatures were communicating with one another, creating patterns of energy that humans could perceive, though they could not fully understand. It was as if the monsters were guiding the journey, navigating through space with instincts far beyond any spacecraft. Dr. Patel, monitoring from Earth, felt a mixture of awe and hope. This was more than a mission. This was proof that humanity and its creatures could face challenges together. The monsters of Earth, once feared and misunderstood, were now moving across the galaxy with a purpose. They were part of something greater, something that would change the universe's perception of Earth forever. The aliens waited, observing the approach. Their sensors detected life forms unlike anything they had cataloged. Ships launched to meet the monsters, unsure of what to expect. But the monsters did not attack. Instead, they circled, landed, and made gestures that communicated peace and intelligence. The aliens watched in astonishment, realizing that Earth had sent not warriors, but beings capable of strategy, empathy, and cooperation. The humans on the spacecraft cheered. For the first time, they realized the full meaning of the alien call. It was not simply a request for help. It was a test to see whether life from a single planet could rise to the challenge of the galaxy. And humans, together with the monsters of Earth, were passing that test. As the sun set on Earth and the monsters continued their journey, one thing was clear. The legends were real, the monsters were real, and humanity was no longer just a small species on a small planet. Together, humans and monsters were becoming something greater, a force capable of answering the call of the galaxy itself. The adventure had only begun. The first step was complete, but the journey ahead promised danger, wonder, and discovery beyond imagination. And as the stars stretched endlessly above, humans understood something profound. Earth's monsters had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The alien system was unlike anything humans had ever seen. From afar, it looked peaceful, planets spinning gracefully around their sun, sparkling rings of ice and dust, and auroras painting the skies in colors no human eye had imagined. Yet, as the first human and monster fleet approached, it became clear that the beauty was deceptive. Something was wrong. Sensors on the human spacecraft detected massive energy fluctuations. One of the planets, the one closest to the sun, emitted pulses of dangerous radiation that disrupted electronic systems. On the surface, huge storms raged constantly, stronger than any hurricane Earth had ever recorded. It was clear this planet was unstable. Something or someone had caused the chaos. The aliens had warned them. The signal had carried messages of urgency and fear. Their civilization depended on the planet's survival, and without help, it might not last. Humans and monsters were about to face a challenge far beyond any training, calculation, or preparation. Dr. Myra Patel and her team watched from the control deck of their ship as monsters approached the planet. A massive dragon-like creature swooped through the atmosphere, its wings cutting through clouds with precision. A long, serpent-shaped creature glided between the magnetic storms, sensing paths safe for humans to follow. Birds with enormous wings adapted to the planet's harsh winds, scouting regions that were too dangerous for spacecraft. "Look at them," said Dr. Patel. "They are not just surviving, they are thinking, predicting, adapting." Her eyes sparkled with excitement. "We could never have done this alone." On the planet's surface, humans prepared to land. Ground crews in suits tested the environment. Even with advanced technology, the storms battered them. Winds twisted metal, lightning struck dangerously close, and the ground shifted as if alive. Yet the monsters acted as guides. The dragon-like creature created a vortex of controlled air, clearing a path for humans to descend. The serpent glided ahead, scanning the terrain, avoiding unstable zones. Wolves and other land creatures ran in coordinated groups, marking safe routes for humans to follow. Once on the surface, the humans were amazed. The planet was alive in ways they had never expected. Plants grew at incredible speeds, adapting instantly to storms. Crystals embedded in the soil emitted light and energy, interacting with the magnetic fields in unpredictable ways. And everywhere, signs of alien technology were damaged but still functional, waiting for repair. The first task was simple to say, impossible to do. stabilize one of the planet's major energy cores, which powered not only the city structures but the planet's atmosphere. If the core failed, storms would escalate and large areas would become uninhabitable. Humans studied the core, attempting to understand the alien technology. Nothing matched Earth's engineering. Every move was a guess. That was when the monsters helped. The dragon-like creature landed beside the human engineers. It seemed to observe the core, tilting its head as if analyzing. Then, with surprising dexterity, it used its claws and tail to adjust some of the alien mechanisms, moving parts that humans could not reach or understand. The humans watched, learning from its instincts. Every adjustment the creature made reduced the risk of a core meltdown. Meanwhile, the serpent coiled around a damaged energy conduit, absorbing excess energy with its scales, dispersing it safely into the ground. Wolves and smaller creatures formed a living network, alerting humans to weak zones and potential hazards. The humans were amazed. These monsters were not tools. They were intelligent partners, capable of thinking, adapting, and acting in ways humans had never imagined. Hours passed and the first core stabilized. The humans cheered quietly, careful not to disturb the delicate systems. But there was no time to celebrate. The aliens' messages had warned of a second test. Another part of the planet, a massive city that floated above the surface, was collapsing. Anti-gravity systems were failing. If nothing was done, the city would crash, destroying lives and creating massive storms below. The monsters took the lead. Flying creatures formed a protective barrier around the city, stabilizing its descent with controlled air currents. Serpents wrapped around the city's support beams, using their strength to hold structures in place. Ground creatures guided humans to key control centers, warning of dangerous energy discharges. Together, humans and monsters worked as a single team. Dr. Patel realized something profound. For centuries, humans had thought of themselves as the most intelligent species on Earth. Yet these creatures, long misunderstood and feared, were teaching humans a new way to think. They were showing humans how to observe, adapt, and act with instinctive intelligence. It was a lesson in humility and collaboration. The first day on the planet ended with partial success. Humans and monsters had stabilized one city, repaired critical energy conduits, and reduced the intensity of storms. Yet the planet still faced instability. The aliens communicated their gratitude, but the warning was clear. The hardest challenges were still ahead. Night fell and the alien skies were filled with strange auroras. Humans looked up, exhausted but inspired. The monsters rested nearby, coiled, perched, or gliding silently. Even in rest, they seemed alert, aware of every vibration in the ground and air. It was impossible not to feel awe. The second day brought unexpected danger. Deep beneath the surface, the humans discovered a network of tunnels filled with unstable energy. The tunnels were alive, resonating with a strange power that reacted to human presence. One wrong step could trigger a massive release, flooding the tunnels and destroying everything above. Monsters led the way. Creatures with keen senses moved ahead, testing the tunnels, signaling humans when areas were safe or dangerous. One massive wolf-like creature sniffed at the walls, then tapped a small mechanism with its paw. Energy readings stabilized. The humans realized the monsters had an instinctive understanding of energy flow, something they had no technical explanation for. In the tunnels, humans and monsters encountered alien wildlife, creatures that had adapted to extreme energy conditions. Some were aggressive, but the monsters managed the encounters without killing. Flying dragons created barriers, serpents distracted the creatures, and humans carefully repaired damaged equipment while avoiding confrontation. Cooperation, patience, and intelligence were more powerful than violence. By the third day, the humans understood the monsters' role in a new way. They were not just guides, they were teachers. Humans observed patterns, learned instincts, and began thinking like the creatures. One engineer, young and nervous at first, discovered a way to use the monsters' abilities to stabilize a massive energy field. Together, they created a system where human technology and natural instinct worked as one. Communication was also evolving. Humans could understand the monsters better. Small gestures, sounds, and movements carried meaning. A wag of a tail could signal danger, a nod of the head could indicate a safe path. Humans began to realize that intelligence was not limited to logic and mathematics. There were other ways to solve problems, other ways to see the universe. By the fourth day, the planet's stability was improving, but the challenge was far from over. Storms still raged in the outer regions. Crystals in the ground emitted unpredictable energy pulses. The aliens warned that the core cities, though safer now, remained at risk. Humans and monsters would need to act quickly to prevent disaster. The climax came when the central core began to overload. Energy built up rapidly, threatening to explode. Humans scrambled to the control panels, calculating, adjusting, trying to match alien technology. But calculations alone were not enough. The monsters acted instinctively. The dragon-like creatures used their wings to create controlled air currents, dispersing energy. Serpents coiled around the core, absorbing excess pulses and stabilizing the system. Wolves and other creatures coordinated with humans, marking weak points and guiding adjustments. The overload subsided. Silence fell over the planet. Humans and monsters alike were exhausted, but the sense of achievement was profound. They had faced the impossible, worked together, and survived. The alien's voice, transmitted through holograms, carried gratitude and amazement. We did not expect such cooperation. Your world has shown intelligence, creativity, and courage beyond any other civilization we know. You have passed the first test. Dr. Patel and her team looked at the monsters surrounding them. For the first time, humans saw them not as myths, not as monsters, but as equals. They had shared the danger, the problem-solving, and the triumph. The lesson was clear. Intelligence was more than calculation. Cooperation, instinct, courage, and creativity mattered just as much. As the stars shimmered above, humans realized that Earth's monsters were not only alive, they were essential. They were partners, guides, and protectors. And together, humans and monsters could face challenges that no one, not even the alien civilization, had imagined. The test was over. The planet was stable for now. But the universe was vast, unpredictable, and full of dangers yet to come. Humans and monsters had passed their first challenge, but the journey ahead promised trials far greater than storms and energy cores. Dr. Patel looked at the creatures resting nearby. "We did it," she whispered. "Together." The monsters' eyes gleamed in response, almost as if they understood. And somewhere far across the galaxy, the alien civilization watched, realizing that Earth had not only answered their call, they had brought something extraordinary. Humanity had learned that monsters were more than legends. They were teachers. They were allies. And the galaxy was about to see what Earth could truly offer. The alien system seemed calm now, but humans knew better. Stability had returned for the moment, but the universe was rarely so patient. As the crew and the monsters rested, sensors suddenly detected movement on the outskirts of the system. Strange ships, sleek and dark, appeared, moving faster than human engines could manage. They were not part of the original call. They were intruders. Doctor. Myra Patel stared at the screen. Her heart sank. "Who are they?" she whispered. "We didn't detect any other civilizations nearby." The alien's holographic projection responded immediately. "Those ships are from a neighboring faction. They seek to claim this system and its resources. They do not know how to handle your creatures. Be careful." Humans had prepared for the challenges of the planet, the storms, the unstable energy, but this was new. War, a threat that no calculation, no plan could fully predict. The monsters, sensing the danger instantly, moved with precision. Wings stretched, claws sharpened, tails coiled. Even humans felt a sense of purpose, realizing that they and the creatures must work together to face this new danger. The first wave of enemy ships arrived near the outer planets. Their weapons glowed with deadly energy, designed to destroy anything in their path. Humans watched from their ships, knowing that a direct fight would be disastrous. But the monsters had a different approach. They did not attack blindly. Instead, they moved strategically, using speed, camouflage, and instinct to confuse the intruders. A dragon-like creature dived into the path of a laser beam, deflecting it with a shimmering wing. A serpent coiled around an asteroid, swinging it toward an enemy ship, forcing it to change course. Wolves and smaller creatures on surface bases created diversions, setting traps that the intruders could not anticipate. Dr. Patel marveled. "They think like us but faster, smarter, in ways we cannot match." The humans joined the effort. Pilots coordinated with flying monsters, adjusting courses and speeds in real time. Engineers calculated ways to redirect energy pulses using the monsters' abilities. The combination of human strategy and natural instinct became a force that surprised the enemy. Their ships, expecting simple targets, found themselves outmaneuvered by Earth's creatures. One massive wolf-like creature, its fur glowing with alien energy, charged straight at the intruder's main ship. Humans feared for it, but the creature's speed and intelligence were unmatched. It disrupted the ship's shields long enough for the humans to send a disabling pulse, rendering the enemy vessel powerless. Cheers erupted across the fleet, but the danger was far from over. Enemy ships adapted quickly. They began targeting the monsters directly, hoping to eliminate them and weaken human coordination. Lasers and missiles streaked across space, aiming at winged, scaled, and armored creatures. But the monsters had learned from the humans' technology as well. They dodged, blocked, and countered with instinctive precision. A group of flying dragons formed a protective circle, shielding smaller creatures from incoming attacks. A massive serpent coiled around an enemy missile, twisting it harmlessly into space. Humans realized a profound truth. The monsters were not just fighters. They were teachers of survival, adaptability, and courage. Without them, humanity could not compete in this unfamiliar galaxy. With them, humans could face even the most dangerous foes. The battle spread across the planets. On one of the outer worlds, an enemy ship attempted to land and claim resources. Ground monsters moved with terrifying efficiency. Wolves and feline-like creatures surrounded the intruders, cutting off escape routes. Flying dragons swooped from above, creating wind currents strong enough to push ships off balance. Serpents used their immense strength to topple structures and immobilize enemy machinery. Humans, guided by the monsters, repaired damage, countered attacks, and ensured civilians and alien allies were safe. One of the alien leaders contacted the human fleet. "Your creatures, they are extraordinary. We never expected life like this. How do they think? How do they cooperate so perfectly?" Dr. Patel smiled wearily. "They think like Earth. Together we solve problems. Alone we might fail, but together we are unstoppable." The conflict escalated. Enemy ships formed a massive formation, attempting to trap the human fleet and monsters in a gravitational corridor near a dying star. The humans calculated escape routes, but none seemed possible. Panic rippled through the crew. The monsters, however, did not hesitate. Dragons dived toward the formation, creating turbulence and forcing enemy ships to break ranks. Serpents coiled around asteroids, sending them spinning into the path of pursuers. Smaller monsters on various planets disrupted communication and energy lines. Every movement was coordinated instinctively, yet humans began to see patterns, learning how to anticipate the creature's next steps. Dr. Patel and her crew acted quickly. Using the monsters' maneuvers, they managed to redirect a stream of energy toward the enemy's formation, disabling several ships. The aliens watching from afar were astonished. "Your species, your monsters, you have turned what seemed impossible into victory. Incredible." But the battle was far from over. Enemy reinforcements arrived, larger and more numerous. Their ships fired simultaneously, energy beams converging on key planets. Humans knew that a direct confrontation would cost lives. The monsters responded instinctively, creating a living barrier. Wings, tails, claws, teeth, and strength combined with human technology to form a protective shield around critical areas. Humans adapted to the monsters' instincts. Engineers sent drones to amplify the creatures' abilities. Pilots coordinated maneuvers that humans alone could not execute. Together, humans and monsters became a synchronized force, combining speed, strategy, and raw power in ways that the enemy could not predict. A massive winged creature dove toward the largest enemy ship. Humans fired non-lethal energy nets, guiding the creature's attack precisely. The monster wrapped its tail around the ship, twisting and disabling it without destruction. Another dragon used its breath, an energy pulse unique to its species, to disrupt the enemy's shields. Humans watched in awe as their allies fought with precision, courage, and intelligence. On the ground, smaller monsters guided humans through dangerous zones. Wolves alerted them to energy spikes, feline-like creatures cleared paths, and birds carried messages instantly across the battlefield. Humans and monsters were no longer separate. They were partners, thinking, acting, and reacting as one. By the third day of the conflict, the enemy forces began to retreat. Their strategies failed against the combined intelligence of humans and monsters. The alien civilization monitored with disbelief and admiration. Your species, your creatures, they are extraordinary. You have shown a combination of courage, intelligence, and creativity that no other civilization has demonstrated. Dr. Patel felt a wave of pride. This is only the beginning, she said. Together we can face anything. Humans and monsters, we are stronger than we imagined. The enemy ships fled the system, but the humans and monsters did not relax. They repaired damaged equipment, healed injured allies, and reinforced planetary defenses. Every monster, from the smallest to the largest, had played a crucial role. Humans had learned that strength alone was meaningless without cooperation, intelligence, and instinctive courage. That night, as stars glimmered over the alien system, humans and monsters rested together. Flying creatures perched on nearby structures, serpents coiled around energy conduits, and wolves stood vigilant. Humans watched, learning, observing, and respecting their allies. The monsters had taught them lessons that no book, machine, or classroom could provide. Dr. Patel recorded her observations. These creatures are not just allies, she wrote. They are teachers, guides, and partners. They have shown us how to adapt, how to act courageously, and how to survive challenges that no human mind could solve alone. Together, we are more than Earth. We are a force the galaxy will remember. The aliens contacted them once more. You have proven yourselves. You have passed the first true challenge of this system. Your cooperation, intelligence, and courage have ensured the survival of your civilization and ours. But the universe is vast. Challenges remain. You must be ready. Humans looked at the monsters surrounding them. Every creature, no matter its size or form, seemed to understand the warning. The conflict had strengthened the bond between humans and Earth's legendary beings. They had faced danger, uncertainty, and a powerful enemy, and they had prevailed together. Dr. Patel knew that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was full of unknown threats, strange civilizations, and unimaginable challenges. But humans and monsters united could face them all. Together they had turned fear into courage, chaos into strategy, and legends into heroes. The night was quiet now. The battle was over for now. But the memory of courage, intelligence, and cooperation would remain. Humans had learned that monsters were more than myths. They were essential partners. And together, humans and monsters were ready to face the next test the galaxy would send. The conflict had ended, but the adventure was far from over. The universe waited, full of mystery and danger. And Earth's creatures, once hidden and misunderstood, had revealed their true power, the power to stand beside humans and shape the destiny of the galaxy. Humanity had learned the greatest lesson yet. Courage, intelligence, and cooperation were the strongest weapons in any universe. And with monsters by their side, humans were ready for whatever came next. The alien system was quiet once more. The intruders had fled, retreating to distant parts of the galaxy, defeated not by sheer force, but by the intelligence, courage, and coordination of humans and Earth's monsters. The stars sparkled above, calm and serene, hiding the dangers that had just passed. For the first time, humans had a moment to breathe, to reflect, and to understand the full impact of what they had accomplished. Dr. Myra Patel floated in the observation chamber of the human spacecraft, staring at the planets below. They looked peaceful now, stable, as if the storms had never raged, as if the core had never threatened to explode. But she knew better. She knew the true miracle was not just the technology or the calculations, it was the partnership. Humanity had survived and succeeded not alone, but alongside creatures that had long been misunderstood, feared, or dismissed. On the surface, monsters rested after days of effort. Dragons folded their wings, coiling gracefully on rocky ridges. Serpents lay along energy conduits, their eyes still glowing faintly, sensing vibrations in the planet's crust. Wolves and other land creatures gathered in groups, guarding humans as they repaired structures and monitored the environment. Together, humans and monsters had transformed a dangerous, unstable system into a living network of cooperation and intelligence. The aliens contacted the humans again, their holographic forms shimmering with gratitude. Your species, your monsters, your cooperation, it surpasses anything we imagined. You have changed the balance of this system, restored stability, and ensured the survival of millions. We did not know Earth could offer so much. Dr. Patel smiled, a mixture of pride and relief washing over her. It was never just humans, she replied. It was humans and monsters working together. That is what makes the difference. The aliens listened carefully. Your world has creatures we cannot fully understand. They are remarkable. We have studied many civilizations, but none have sent life forms so capable, so adaptable, and so intelligent. You have shown that your species and your planet are unique in the galaxy. Humans began to realize the depth of the revelation. Earth had been underestimated for centuries. Other civilizations assumed humans were small, weak, and limited. Yet humans had reached across the stars and succeeded where others had failed, not through weapons or advanced technology alone, but through courage, ingenuity, and cooperation with creatures once dismissed as myths. On the ground, a massive dragon landed near a group of engineers. It lowered its head gently, allowing a human to place a device on its scales. A serpent coiled gracefully around a human technician, supporting their weight as they climbed a damaged structure. Wolves circled, alert and protective, while humans continued their work. No one felt fear, all felt respect and admiration. The monsters had become allies in every sense, equal partners in a journey that had once seemed impossible. Dr. Patel watched as humans and monsters communicated seamlessly. Small gestures, sounds, and movements conveyed messages that no words could fully capture. The bond was undeniable. Humans had learned to trust instincts as much as logic, to act courageously as much as wisely, and to respect life forms of all kinds as equals. The alien civilization explained further. Your monsters are not only allies. They are proof that intelligence can take many forms, and that cooperation can create outcomes beyond calculation. You have passed the final test of this system. You have proven that life from a single planet can rise to challenges far greater than expected, not through dominance, but through collaboration. Humans felt a sense of awe. For generations, they had assumed the strongest species, the most intelligent species, was always the one with advanced tools, with technology, with numbers. Yet here they had witnessed something extraordinary. Creatures once feared had become teachers, guides, and indispensable partners. Humans had learned humility, strategy, and courage, and the monsters had shared the knowledge silently, naturally, instinctively. The revelation was not only for the humans. Across the galaxy, sensors and communication networks recorded the events. Other civilizations watched and took note. The stories would spread. Earth had creatures unlike any other. Humans had creatures unlike any other. And together they could face challenges no one else could. Dr. Patel turned to her crew. "We have been given a gift," she said. "Not just the chance to save a system, but the chance to see who we really are. Humans are stronger than we imagined, not because of technology alone, but because we can learn, adapt, and work with those we once feared. And our monsters, they are more than legends. They are part of us, part of what makes Earth special." The crew nodded, understanding the truth in her words. They had seen courage in dragons, wisdom in serpents, loyalty in wolves, and ingenuity in creatures no human had ever imagined. Each monster had contributed to the success, each life had mattered. Humanity's story and Earth's story had become intertwined with these creatures forever. For a moment, silence filled the alien system. Stars twinkled overhead, and humans felt connected not just to the aliens, not just to their home planet, but to the universe itself. They understood that survival was not merely about power or numbers. It was about intelligence, courage, empathy, and cooperation. And humans with monsters by their side had proven that Earth could rise to any challenge. The aliens continued their message. "We will share the story of your achievement with other civilizations. They will know that Earth has life forms capable of extraordinary cooperation, and that your species, humans, can rise to challenges with courage and intelligence. The galaxy will remember this. The universe has changed because of your actions." Humans felt pride, but also responsibility. They realized that this was not the end of the journey. The galaxy was vast, full of mysteries, dangers, and wonders. Yet they had learned a crucial lesson. Together, humans and monsters could face anything. Every challenge, no matter how impossible it seemed, could be overcome through courage, strategy, and cooperation. As the final repairs were completed on the alien cities, humans and monsters gathered for a moment of reflection. The dragons flexed their wings, serpents coiled around structures, wolves stood alert, and humans stood among them. For the first time, the line between legend and reality, between human and monster, seemed to blur. They were partners, equals, united in purpose. Dr. Patel walked among them, recording observations. "This is the true revelation," she said softly. "Not that we succeeded, but how we succeeded. We did not dominate, we did not control, we collaborated, we respected each other's strengths and weaknesses, we learned from one another. That is what will carry us forward." The monsters responded in subtle ways. Dragons tilted their heads, serpents hummed with energy, wolves nuzzled humans. Every action carried meaning, a shared understanding that words could not capture. Humans felt a deep connection, one that transcended language, culture, and species. Far above in orbit, human spacecraft monitored the system. Sensors detected unusual energy patterns, not threatening but alive. The monsters' presence had changed the environment, stabilizing it, enhancing it, and creating harmony where chaos had reigned. Humans began to understand that the monsters were not merely allies, they were essential to life itself, teaching lessons that no human could invent alone. The aliens concluded their communication. "You have revealed the potential of Earth to the galaxy. Your courage, intelligence, and cooperation with the creatures of your world have ensured survival and demonstrated wisdom beyond your species' apparent size. The galaxy will watch your world now with respect, admiration, and caution. You have changed history, Doctor." Patel turned to her team. "History is only beginning," she said. "The galaxy is vast, full of wonders and challenges we cannot yet imagine, but together, humans and monsters, we are ready." Humans and monsters prepared to return home, but the journey was not just about travel. It was about understanding, learning, and remembering what they had accomplished. They had faced storms, unstable planets, enemy forces, and the unknown. They had succeeded not because of one species alone, but because they had trusted, learned, and worked together. As they left the alien system, the monsters guided the way, using instincts humans could only partially understand. Flying creatures led paths through asteroid belts, serpents navigated gravitational currents, and ground creatures coordinated planetary defenses. Humans observed, learned, and recorded, knowing these lessons would be vital for the next adventure. When they finally returned to Earth, a new understanding awaited. Humanity had changed. Monsters had returned to their hidden corners, but now humans knew their value, their intelligence, and their courage. Earth was no longer just a planet of humans. It was a planet of collaboration, of legends made real, of creatures and people united in purpose. Children, scientists, and citizens watched as humans shared their experiences. The world learned that the monsters of legend were real, that they were intelligent, and that they had saved lives across the galaxy. People celebrated not just the humans, but the creatures who had stood beside them. A new respect for life, courage, and cooperation spread across the planet. Dr. Patel stood on a cliff overlooking the ocean, watching a dragon glide across the horizon. "We have done something extraordinary," she said softly. "The galaxy has seen what Earth can offer, and our monsters, they have shown us the true meaning of partnership. We are stronger together, and nothing can stop us now." The stars twinkled above, endless and full of possibilities. The galaxy was vast, and humanity had only just begun to explore it. But one truth was clear. Humans with monsters by their side could rise to any challenge, face any danger, and shape their destiny in ways the universe had never seen. For the first time, humans understood the ultimate revelation. Strength was not in numbers, not in weapons, not in technology alone. Strength was in courage, intelligence, cooperation, and the ability to trust in the unseen. And with the monsters of Earth as partners, humans were ready for the wonders and challenges that awaited beyond the stars. The journey had begun. The galaxy would remember Earth and its monsters for generations to come.